my dog Restraint, what I want her to be comfortable with is for me to hold her against my body and she stays still. So for Jane, it's gonna look like this. I'm gonna get low, I'm gonna have a hand on her hip and then a hand around her chest. Now, I need to break this into a couple different pieces. So first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get her comfortable with me putting my hand on her hip. Now, I have Jane set up on platforms because this keeps her in a stand position. You can have your dog lying down for this when you do it, or you could have a helper who's gonna keep your dog standing by feeding them treats here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is simply reach my hand over her hips, not even gonna touch it. I'm gonna pair that movement with a treat and then pull my hand away. And I'm just gonna continue doing that over and over, getting closer and closer to her hip. So this is also requiring that I bend over Jane a little bit, and I wanna see that she's comfortable with that as well. If at any point I start moving towards her and she gets uncomfortable by moving away, then she's told me that I've gone too fast with this, and I'm just gonna make it easier. So if she didn't like that, then I'm gonna go back to just reaching over her hip. So my eventual goal is that I've worked my way until I can bend over, put my hand against her hip, feed her, and she maintains that position. So Jane is now telling me that she's comfortable with this. Now I'm gonna work on putting my other arm around her chest. When I do that, I'm not gonna worry about her hip anymore. So we know that she's comfortable with that, but I'm gonna work on her chest separately. So arm goes close to her chest. I'm going to pair with a treat and pull it away. And then I'm gonna work my way down more and more, so long as she's comfortable with it, until I can actually touch her chest and she gets a treat and she's fine with that. Now I'm gonna put the two together. I'm gonna work slowly, so I'm gonna go without touching her first. So hand over her hip and around her chest like this, give her a treat, and then if she's comfortable with that, a little bit more, give her a treat. I'm gonna start moving my body closer to her. She's still comfortable with this. And then eventually, I've worked my way till I can put my hand on her hip, around her chest, and hold her. And then what I'm gonna wanna do next is start to build duration on this behavior, because let's say I'm at the vet's, I might have to hold her for a little while she's, getting examined or something. So I'm just gonna add some duration. With this, the easiest way to do it is restrain, wait a moment, then give her a treat. Or you can have your helper feed her while you're restraining. So I would restrain, my helper is feeding her, feeding her, feeding her, and then when I stop, they stop feeding her. And that's how we teach our dogs to be comfortable with being restrained.